Today is December 19th,
Yeah.
2018. My name is Judith Jenkins, a volunteer with the Hanford branch of the Kings County Library Veteran History Project. Would you please state your full name?
Willie Castillo Gomez.
Thank you very much for spending some time with us this morning, Mr. Gomez. Have here a list of some questions that I'd like to ask you about your veterans service. And we'll start from the very beginning as to where you're from.
I was born in Santa Rita, New Mexico.
Ah, very good. Are your parents still living with us?
No.
No.
Now that's one of 11.
Oh my, okay. What did they do for a living?
Worked.
They both worked?
Who?
Your mother and your father?
Oh, my father was a barber.
Ah,
And my
Okay.
mother, she was a mother. You
okay.
know, yeah.
Very good. Do you have any brothers or sisters still alive?
No, they're all gone.
They're all gone. Okay. Did they serve in the military?
I had 4 brothers. I had 3 brothers and me, it's 4.
Okay.
3 of us, 3 of them. 3 brothers who were in the service with me.
What branch of service was that?
They were in the Army.
The Army, all right. What did you do before you started serving in the Army?
I was a field worker
In when your hometown?
right here in Hanford.
In Hanford?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the only job we could get, work in the fields.
How long was that? Did you do that for?
Oh, up to the time the war started.
Okay,
After the war was out, I didn't have to do that no more.
okay, okay. Were you drafted or
Yeah, I was drafted.
what year was that?
Huh?
What year was that?
That was 43, April 2nd, 1943.
Okay. All right. What inspired you about the branch of service that you were in, Army? What inspired you about that branch of
I
service?
really didn't get inspired. I was drafted, I had to go.
You had to go.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So how was the boot camp experience? The boot camp, when you
Boot
go
camp?
into initial
It was
and
all
get
right,
training?
yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
good training? Okay. Tell me about your DI or other instructors. What were they like?
They were all right. They weren't abusive or nothing.
Okay. Let's talk about military life and adjusting to it. Okay, you said you worked in the fields and helped with that, and then when you were drafted, you went into the Army, but how big of adjustment was that for you at that time?
It was a good adjustment, yeah. Had plenty of food to eat, had a nice place to sleep.
Right, right,
They supplied me with my clothes and everything.
okay.
It's all right.
All the accoutrements of surviving. So what did you do when you had leisure time, when you weren't working in the military?
And when I was in service,
Yes, like when you have leave chits,
Well,
right? Like weekend leave
get a
chits.
leave, I'd come home to visit my folks.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. So did you go to specialized training, like an A school or something for whatever your job was in the Army?
Regular Army training.
Regular Army training?
Yeah.
What was your specialization? What did you do? Weapons or?
They showed us how to fire the rifles.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
okay. What are some of the stresses that you had? What are some of the stresses that you had when you were going through your basic training while you were in the Army? What stressed you out the most? The
What?
people or the job?
I didn't get what you were going to tell me.
What are your stresses? What worked you up when you were in the military
Oh,
or annoyed you the most?
nothing really. Just the fact that I was people at my age, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I was trying to do better than them.
Right, right. We all try to do that. All in all, during your whole military experience, how do you think this impacted the rest of your life once you separated from the Army?
Oh, not much of anything. Yeah. I felt the same. And so when I went in, I was glad to get out.
Yeah. And how many years did you serve again?
About 2.5 years.
Okay, All right. Tell me about something about your military friendships that you had, your military friendships that you acquired while you were in the Army.
I had
In
one.
2 years.
Well, I had one or two of them. Yeah.
Okay.
One of them didn't come back,
Oh,
and the other one come back, and we associated here in life in Hanford.
okay. Okay, they were from Hanford too?
He was from Layton, and he
Oh.
moved to Hanford.
So do you stay in contact with them at all? I mean, are you still,
No, they're
Able to-
already gone.
they're gone too? Okay. Do you stay in contact with your friends and your family, the friends and family that's left that you have now? Do you still stay in close contact with them?
Now,
Yes.
well, I got my kids.
Okay. You
Yeah.
spend time with them?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got no more cousins. I think they're all gone.
Okay. Grandkids too?
I got grandkids too, yeah.
Okay, okay. So do you have any specific memories about your service? Do you have any specific memories about your service in the Army? I mean, anything that like particularly pinged you or, motivated you or stuck with you? Either negative or positive, it's fine.
Just that when I was in the Army, the people, we were in combat, and I lost a lot of friends. Yeah.
Were you awarded any medals or citations during your time in service, the 2 years?
I got a Bronze Star.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Would you like to speak about the wounded or fallen comrades, your friends that got consumed by the war and didn't come back?
No. I never knew. The ones that I lost, they died. Yeah.
Is this a picture over here of your,
Is that it?
you want me to, here, I'll hand it to you. You can sit.
No, they fixed it up, huh?
Yeah, you can just hold it for a minute and show the camera.
Let me see what you got here. Yeah, that's me right there.
Okay.
I can't remember all these guys. I think they're all gone now. Yeah.
You show it up
The
to the
only one I
camera.
remember is how you forgot his name. I don't know.
Can you show it up just a little bit more? There you go, all right. So that's your platoon? That was your group?
Yeah.
There's quite a few people in there.
43rd Infantry Division
Wow. That's very nice.
from Connecticut.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing that with us. We don't usually get a lot of veterans that be able to have their picture of all the people they worked with and can share it with us. So we thank you for bringing that in. We thank you for bringing this in.
And thank my daughter. She's the one that got it in.
Well, thank you. Do you recall the day of service that ended for you?
How was that again?
The last day of service that you had after your 2 years, you came out of the Army. Do you recall it?
I was in the hospital.
You were where?
I was in the hospital.
You were? What happened?
Well, at first I had club typhus when I was overseas. And when I got discharged, before I got discharged, I got malaria.
Oh,
They
no.
put me in the hospital. I stayed there for a while, not too long. And when I got discharged from the hospital to go home. I had to hitchhike home.
Oh.
I never forgot that.
So the readjustment from that to civilian life probably was hard because you'd been sick. What was the reception like at home once you got out and you were better? You healed up from being sick in the hospital.
How was that again?
Your reception. What was the reception like? Was your family happy to see you?
Oh, yeah,
Your
they were
friends
glad
happy
I
to
was
see
home.
you?
Yeah, I had 3 sisters.
Okay,
Yeah. They were glad to see me home.
that's good. That's good. And so what did you do after you got out of the Army?
I went to work. I had to go to work. I got a job working for Bolts. Bolts was a factory where they made powdered milk out of milk here in town.
Here in Hanford?
I got a job there, working there.
Okay, all right. Did you enjoy working there?
Huh?
Did you enjoy working that, or is this that was a job you picked up?
Wasn't working out in the fields.
Right, exactly, exactly. So did you continue your education after you got out and started working?
No.
Okay, so you didn't use your GI Bill, educational bill?
No.
Okay, all right. And do you attend any reunions or that have to do with military ceremonies?
No.
Did you ever when you got out?
No.
No?
I joined veterans, California veterans.
Okay.
After I came out.
Okay.
For a little while, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What observations did you, for all the experience that you had in the military, what observations did you have about the military? Because you were drafted, was it negative or positive? Or do you have any observation at all?
Well, I didn't care to be in there.
Because you were drafted,
But
or because the way they treated you?
So I went, yeah.
Okay, okay. Tell me a little bit about the war front with your comrades that you had, the ones that were your friends. Did you feel that when you all had to go up in front of the enemy like that, did you feel that the military had trained you properly or enough to take care of yourself in that battlefront when you and your comrades went out there? Do you feel you got enough training to handle what you needed?
Yeah, I had enough training.
Okay, okay. So how long was, let's step back for a minute. How long was boot camp?
Boot camp?
Yes.
Oh, I can't remember.
Like 12 weeks or something?
I was in Camp Cook for a while, I don't know how long. And then they shipped me over to Monterey over here
Okay.
for a while. From there, they sent me overseas. I didn't get too much training, really.
Okay. Okay, I see here that you got an infantry badge. You earned PFC after only 2 weeks notice for having the shiny shoes.
Yeah, and after being in the Army 2 weeks, I got
Right.
my first stripe.
Wow.
I was made first class private.
Wonderful, wonderful,
In 2 weeks of being in the Army.
wonderful.
And that's the last stripe I got,
Okay.
until I got discharged.
Oh my goodness, okay. All right, tell me something about the transport ship and landing craft, and then you dropped off where they were engaged in combat. Tell me something about the transport ship. What
I
was
didn't
that?
care to be in the transport down in the bottom.
Oh, they had two levels.
I already had a PFC, I had a stripe.
Right,
I volunteered to be guard duty upstairs.
okay,
I never slept downstairs.
okay. Was it like kind of messy down
I was
there?
on guard duty up
Okay.
top.
Okay. Okay, you have down here that you were drafted in Fresno, California? That's that where they drafted you?
No, I was here in Hanford.
Oh, you're here in Hanford, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Okay. It says here, October 10th, almost died due to a friendly fire. October 10th says almost died due to a friendly fire.
Oh, yeah, that was terrible, yeah.
Can you explain some on that?
Well, I was on patrol with a squad that I was leading. And we came to this mountain, and we were supposed to go to the top to where my company was at. But before we climbed up, they told we had to stay in the bottom a little while, and then they started dropping shells. Ooh, we thought it was Japanese shells. It wasn't. It was American shells.
Really?
Mm-hmm. A whole mess of guys got killed.
Wow.
Yeah, after they stopped, we had to pick up the dead, and bury them.
You actually had time to do
There was
that?
quite a bit of them, yeah.
Wow.
I think I remember the name of it, Maxwell Mountain, I think.
Maxwell Mountain?
Maxwell Mountain. Maxwell was the captain of the heavy weapons that was dropping the shells.
Okay.
He gave them some kind of orders there that weren't right.
You gave what?
Some orders
Oh,
that
okay.
weren't right. Instead of the shells going to the right, the shells came back to the left where we were at.
Oh my gosh.
That was a big mistake.
Oh my gosh.
The Japanese didn't do the killing. Yeah, I remember that. If we'd have gone to the top, I wouldn't be here.
Well, I'm glad you didn't do that. In the jungle, it's impossible to dig foxholes because the roots of the trees were everywhere.
So many trees and so many roots, you couldn't dig a hole.
So how did you
cut trees? You had to cut trees and kill things, you know.
So that took extra long then?
Yeah. Took to 3 o'clock. By 3 o'clock, we got to start cutting trees down to make a whole place for it to hide in.
Right. Was there a special team to do that, or just your whole infantry? Special team that did that, the digging?
No, we had to do it our own. We didn't have a team.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, it says here, you're always wet, you couldn't see the sun all day, so it was raining a lot?
Oh, in the jungle? You never been in the jungle?
No,
Oh,
I haven't.
they got so much. You can't even see the sun up there. You can't even see the sun.
So it's heavy rains,
Yeah.
so you stayed soaked?
It rained. It was raining. Your feet were always wet.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
where most of the guys used to get jungle rot. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How did you treat that? I mean, they would just take you out of the line and go to the med station and take care of that?
No, we just till you get through whatever it is you were doing, you get back to your camp, and then you go to sick call.
Okay. And you needed to send up a red fire flash for planes to drop supplies. Then you had to hide because the enemy could find you. Was this while you were in the jungle?
Yeah.
Okay. How would you see if there were so many trees? How would you know where they were going to drop the supplies at from the planes?
Well, the planes couldn't see where we were at.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had some flares, red smoke.
I see.
We'd light them up, and smoke would go up, and the planes would see where the smoke coming out. That's where they're at. That's
Okay.
where they would drop the supplies.
Okay. How often would they deliver supplies to you all?
Oh, every 2-3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks. And that would last you the
Yeah,
whole
they
time?
wouldn't eat too much, you know.
Okay. So when you said you had to hide so the enemy couldn't find you,
No,
you hid
had-
in these
you
holes?
had to- You had to hide when they were dropping those boxes. You
Oh.
had to hide, so those boxes wouldn't hit you.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right. Yeah, because they couldn't see
rob
you.
or something, yeah.
Right. Okay, it says here that when you sat on the beach where the water came in, the tide would come in and uncover the dead over and over and over again. So the dead that was on the beach, the ones that they
That
didn't
was pretty
have.
close to the beach, yeah.
Okay,
Where we landed, we had to hit combat. There was a
okay,
dead Japanese in front of my foxhole. At nighttime, the water would come
the tide.
and cover him. I would
Okay.
cover him in the daytime,
Mm-hmm.
and in the nighttime, the water would come out and uncover him. So I had to cover him next day again. I did that for 9 days,
9 days straight?
covering up the Japanese. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because if you didn't, then that would let the enemy know that there was.
Well, the
People
animals,
killed.
they were in the jungle over there, you know. They
Right.
knew where we were at. Yeah.
Okay.
At nighttime, we had to hide in our foxholes. The Japanese, where they were around, they were around.
Looking
Yeah.
for you. Okay. Okay, so wow. So you volunteered to help evacuate 4 injured soldiers out of the jungle. You had to travel at night and hope not to get lost as it was so dark. Enemy would have spotted them if there was any light.
Well, I was so sick when I was there. I didn't volunteer because I was worried about get those guys out.
Right.
I wanted to get myself out of there.
Right.
I volunteered to help carry them out,
Right,
you know.
right. And these were severely
I
injured
was
soldiers?
really sick, yeah.
Is that with the malaria that you said?
I thought it was malaria, but it was scrub typhus,
Scrub typhus.
yeah.
Could you explain what scrub typhus is?
It's like malaria.
It's like malaria,
you
okay.
keep
So it's
eating
deadly,
it.
it can kill you?
Yeah.
Okay, oh my goodness. So how long did it take for you to get these soldiers, these injured soldiers out to safety?
Oh, it didn't take long, about 2-3 days.
2 or 3 days?
We had to carry them up a hill and let them go down the hill
Right.
by themselves. Go
Right.
down, pick them up, and then take them up again.
Yeah, so it was really hilly?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how many times did you go back and forth in the jungle?
That's just that one time
Just the one time, okay.
to pick up the body.
And you were kept in isolation because due to that you were sick with a
Yeah.
scrub typhus?
I landed in the hospital. I thought it was malaria.
Right,
See, I volunteered to go back and get those bodies over there.
right,
And they told me that if I would volunteer to go and help carry those bodies out, I would never have to be on KP or guard duty. So I volunteered to go. So I went, and when I came back, about 2-3 days later, they said, Sergeant come over and says, "You're gonna put me on guard duty." Hey, what do you mean you're gonna put me on guard duty? I said, "You told me if I volunteered to get those bodies, I wouldn't have to be on guard duty or KP. Well, you're gonna have to go anyway." Oh, well, I was sick, real sick. I said, "You know what? I'm gonna go on sick leave. I don't feel good." Okay, so I went on sick leave. I thought I had malaria. And they put me in, I had scrub typhus. I couldn't even get out of my bed to go to the bathroom.
and that's why you had to be isolated?
Yeah, I was isolated.
Because it was catchy, anybody could catch it? Okay. Wow. Okay, when the war was over, or you ended up going to Japan for 3 days, and they didn't go around as, it says they didn't go around as their government wanted to make sure the people of Japan had no weapons.
We were the first
Okay.
troops to go into Japan.
Okay,
We had to wait 3 days at the harbor there till we got permission from the Japanese for us to go in, because they wanted to make sure their people would kill none of us.
Not
if
attack
we
you,
went in.
right.
So they disarmed all the people. In 3 days, they let us to go in, and none of the American guys that went in got killed.
okay. That had to be an undertaking to make sure all that armament was
They
up.
wanted to be sure, because what they had gone through, what Hiroshima,
Right.
they didn't want to go through that again.
Right, right. I suppose that gave you some sort of apprehension or anxiety, because maybe if somebody forgot to surrender their arms or whatever, that you were protected.
Well, I don't know. Well, I didn't stay there too long.
Right, right.
It might have happened. I don't know. But I was there about a week when they sent me back home.
The army sent you back home?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I had enough. They said I had enough points to go home.
Okay, the Army never asked you if you wanted to stay, but you were sent to Beale, California?
That's where I got discharged.
Okay, all right, December 31st, 1945. And you had to hitchhike home? I don't understand. They didn't provide transportation for you
No.
home? No cab, no nothing?
No,
Really?
I had to hitchhike home.
How far was home from that
I
base?
don't know how far it is. Well, how far is that?
I didn't.
Can't feel.
300 or 400 miles, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
But it was easy to hitchhike because you had a uniform on, and the people would pick you up.
Oh, okay, and they would
Yeah.
take you a certain
Yeah, there
distance?
was no
Okay.
trouble hitchhiking.
Times have changed, haven't they? You were there not
Now
long
it's different, I
that.
guess.
Okay. I'd like to highlight on this, that you said you caught a glimpse of General MacArthur. When was that?
I landed in the Philippines after I got out of the hospital.
Okay.
I was going back to my outfit
All right.
in the Philippines there. I landed, and General MacArthur was around there. I went to see him. Yeah, I just seen him, that's all.
Right.
Yeah.
But I suppose that was a very memorable sight, though.
Yeah.
None of us get to do something like that. It says here that you went on a medical transport to the Philippines for treatment? A medical transport?
Oh, the plane, yeah, from
Oh, it was a plane?
yeah, from New Guinea
Okay,
to the Philippines.
okay,
They shipped me on an airplane.
okay. So you've had two, let me get this straight from my mind. You've had two major illnesses, right? Before you actually got out of the Army.
I had to what?
You've been sick twice, seriously sick twice before you
Yeah,
got out. Okay, okay. And with some very devastating, wow, diseases. Let me ask you this. For the people who are going to see this, interview now and in the future, what would you tell or share with young men and young women who are entering the Army or entering the military at this time? What would you like to say to them?
Oh, I wouldn't know what to tell them. Everybody's got different things, you know, in their minds about the Army and their lifestyle. So I wouldn't want to tell them nothing.
Okay, okay. But it was a eventful lifetime because it so many impacted experiences that you had gone through. You had gone through, and so we appreciate you sharing that with us. We appreciate you sharing this interview with us.
Yeah.
We enjoy it very much. Okay, I want to ask you this question. I'd like to ask you this question. For people who go through the military, like yourself, are you able to access the VA benefits, all the benefits that you feel that you've acquired since you've retired, since you were separated from service?
Well, the only thing I ever got was I got a chance to get a loan to buy my home.
Okay, the VA loans?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That was good, yeah.
All right,
And I hardly had to pay too much money.
all right,
And I was working, I could afford it,
right.
yeah.
Okay, all right. Another question I'd like to ask you, and I'm going to go back on this again because I do think it's interesting to expound on. When you spoke about carrying the injured soldiers to a place of safety and how the jungle was so dense and how it rained so hard, you have here is that your squad leader or your point man in the jungle couldn't even see the second point behind him. Are you referring to the other people with you who are carrying the injured?
Referring to myself, I did that.
You're referring to yourself. You were the point
I was
man?
#1 jungle leader.
I see. I see. So everybody was under you to take this back. Okay.
It's a wonder I'm alive.
Well, like I said, the best people probably survive because you're smart enough to know how you're a survivor, how to survive,
I guess. Yeah.
which shows you now.
I was just lucky.
Yeah, you are lucky. I think that the people who go into the military have a certain sense or awareness about them, and that has grown, and different things that people maybe outside the military hasn't yet acquired, or maybe they never do acquire. And so that's why it's so important that we'd like to get in touch with as many people as we can to give us interviews. All of you have different backgrounds, and you certainly have a very diversified background, and I am impressed with all that you had to go through. And that's why I keep going back over, certain questions. But I want to ask you this one question. For your grandchildren, for however old they are, the ages, would you ever talk to them about if they came to you and said that we were encouraged to go into the military, we like to go in, and you've been through it, what would you tell them?
Well, I won't tell anybody nothing, but I tell you, my kids.
Your grandkids.
I had 4 boys,
Right.
and I told them they were not gonna volunteer to go in the service. If they got drafted, their number come up. I told them, if you don't want to go, don't go. Go to Mexico, go to Canada. That's the way I felt about it, not the way they felt about it.
Right.
This is the way I felt about it. That's what I told them.
What about the grandkids?
As long as you're under 18, you're not going to join the service.
Right.
If you get to be 21 and you get drafted, then it's up to you what you want. If you want to go, well, all right. But I wouldn't go.
Yeah, things have definitely changed since the time that you went into the military. All right. Is there anything else, Mr. Gomez, that you would like to add to this interview? Is there anything else that you'd like to share to add to this interview today?
No, nothing else. No,
Nothing else?
this is just what I went through myself. That's all.
Okay, Mr. Gomez, we thank you so much for the time for this interview. And above all, we want to thank you for your service to this country.
All right. Thank you.